And away we go. We have a decent start, not bad for a rookie. We squeeze our way into this gap between these two cars, 3 wide as a rookie on a rookie race. That is a daring move. We overtake the blue car on the left as well, and now we're slotting ourselves into the turn 1 behind the red car. Keeping a safe distance, avoiding the car that's gone off on the right as well. Welcome everyone, this is a rookie race. I'm a rookie driver. I have about 3 months experience at iRacing now, and this is Lime Rock Park. It holds a special place in my heart because it is also the first racetrack I've ever raced in iRacing about 2.5, 3 months ago in the past. We're now up ahead in position number probably 4 or 5, I think. Not bad. We haven't qualified. I wanted to explicitly not qualify so I could start at the back and avoid all the chaos, but as you saw, that was not what happened. There was no chaos and we made up a bunch of places already. There's some close racing in this particular race, much closer than in most of my races in the past, both from the front of me trying to stay with the cars ahead as well as cars from behind trying to overtake. We've almost made it around the track once the tires are starting to warm up and we can go into these turns with more confidence, following behind the cars in their draft, braking at the appropriate time, going through here reasonably close to the cars ahead. We're trying to stay on the inside, watching the car on the left. Through this turn, I've tried to keep the distance between me and the cars ahead roughly the same, but that allowed the cars from behind to get closer as well. I did go off the accelerator here into the entry of this turn, but that made the other car behind us give us a bump into the bumper, and now this car here swerves off, leaves the track, goes across the track. We were far enough behind that we could avoid that action, and now we are behind the car in the red and white. Overall, this race has gone about as well as many of my other races in the last week. I made up several positions, not mainly by overtaking other cars actively, but purely by other cars leaving the track and me trying to overtake them while staying on the track. On the downhill, hitting the turning point at the bottom of that downhill and going off the accelerator ever so slightly for a fraction of a second while keeping the steering angle the same, and we're following the car closely as possible. We're making up about half a tenths of a second. This turn here, much more confident than a couple months ago in my first season of iRacing. In the first season of iRacing, this turn 1 was always a nerve-wracking place to go. I never knew how fast to go, when to turn. It was always frightening. Now I have zero fear of turn 1, and that really shows to me how much I've improved. Lots to go still in my improvement for years to come, but at least that small step is very encouraging to me. We're able to stay with the car ahead, but we're not getting closer to the point where I can overtake them. Again, still relying on them to make mistakes, but I'm trying to push now a little bit to get closer to them, trying to make sure my entries are correct. I can stay on the accelerator. I could have stayed on the accelerator a little bit more on here on this turn, as you can see, because I didn't use all the curb. Here I go in a little bit too early, but the exit seems alright, and we stay with the car, keeping the distance roughly the same. At this point, we now also have another problem, which is the car behind us, the white-ish looking car, the white car behind us is getting closer as well. And now I have to not only focus on car ahead, but also make sure the car behind is not trying to make moves and lunges and dash into corners when I didn't expect them to be. So now looking ahead and looking in the back mirror is something I need to do constantly. Trying to get my exits right here. I'm too cautious on the exit there, but we're staying with the car ahead and making it into this sort of back straight into the chicane, braking early, staying with the car. A little bit too shallow here, and I could have gone the accelerator a little bit earlier, but small improvements, and at least I'm consistent. The car ahead pulls away, and the cars behind are close to me. So what am I looking for here? I'm trying to get the entry right, trying to, on the downhill section, the moment I hit the downhill part, turning in, there we go, a little too early, but it actually worked out quite fine. And I try to make use of the entire track on the left hand side to get the car pointed straight as quickly as possible to get the acceleration down quite quickly. Braking here, trying to get my speed right, trying to stay on the inside of this particular turn, trying to stay closer to the car ahead, making sure any kind of mistake I can capitalize on. Again, keeping the distance roughly the same allows the car behind me that's pushing a little bit more to get even closer. So I gotta keep an eye on that, make sure I'm aware of any kind of contact that might occur and get out of the way if necessary, or recover the car if contact happens. Everything is fine, nothing really has happened so far here. Everyone is well behaved, everyone is a good driver. This is quite fun, I enjoy it. I need to practice my exit out of this chicane a little bit better. As you can see, the car ahead is pulling away from me, so there's something I need to improve on for the next races. But overall, I think it's been an improvement compared to my first season, even as I say that and I go off track on the left-hand side here. So that was a bit of a compromise. The car ahead is pulling away, and sooner or later I will have to concede the fact that I'm not able to overtake the red car in front of me, and the white car behind is causing a lot of pressure to mount on me. But again, trying to get the entry right, trying to stay on the inside, trying to make up a little bit of time here and distance. Staying with the car, making up a little bit of space here. They pull away, coasting through here, tapping the accelerator and the brakes gently to turn the car. I've messed up my entry into this corner, which has made me accelerate a little bit late out of here. But we're still on track. That's great. Consistency above all else is important to me. So now, while we have a little bit of the same as before, following closely from behind, trying to keep up with the car ahead, let me welcome you to the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. This is fantastic. I usually drive the Mazdas for now. I've practiced with some other cars, GT4 as well as the BMW, and those are going fine. I'm not at the level yet where I feel comfortable to drive races with other humans. Here now in the Mazda, I've recognized that I can't overtake the car ahead of me. They're pulling away. The white car is putting a lot of pressure on me. And now my hope is if I let the white car go past it, maybe I can follow the white car better and thus speed up myself, as we are both now getting closer to the red car. That is my thinking here. I'll let the white car go past me because they are faster. But now it turns out both the red car and the white car are even faster than me. The red car is pulling away even further than it was pulling away while I was following it. So my strategy really backfired here. Sometimes when faster cars or more aggressive drivers are ahead and they're battling it out, they take each other out, and that again allows me, due to no skill of my own other than staying on track, make up some positions. But here, these two drivers were actually quite good. They were staying on track, they were not making many mistakes, and now they're both pulling away from me, which is not what I had intended. I wanted to follow the white car and myself catch up to the red car, figure out how the white car will eventually perhaps overtake the red car, and then pull the same move on the red car. But that did not work out so well. Maybe next time I will think better of it, and I'll just learn and review what the white car did to be so fast and so quick. But now they're starting to battle eventually over there, and I can make up a little bit of space, a little bit of room. The blue car behind is now a threat as well. This turn is when I need to practice more. I feel like I can go through here. I've watched another YouTuber go through a rookie race in the Mazda as well, even though he's, I think, a C-class license. But nevertheless, I watched his race through here, and he does coast, but he's probably faster as he goes into the coasting and then accelerates earlier as well. So again, I really love watching these reviews and replays because it allows me to see where I've made mistakes, where other drivers were going faster, and I can study that and I can improve for the next time. The white and red car ahead are still battling it out. We seem to have lost the blue car behind, so we are in a little bit of a safer spot here for this particular race. We can try to keep up with them ahead, try to get closer, try to overtake them eventually, but the cars from behind, the threats from behind, has somewhat negated itself. And the distance, if you can see it in one of the monitors up above there, is roughly the same as my distance to the cars in front. So I feel safe, even though I'm thinking I can overtake the ones in front. Again, something to review. There's so much to learn, especially in this turn. Now that they're battling it out in this particular turn, I'm still trying to figure out where are they braking that they're so much faster than me. Maybe I should take their line a little bit more. One of the dangers of me watching the cars ahead that I have to work on is that once I watch the cars ahead, if they do go offline or take lines that are completely different from what I'm used to, I sometimes have a tendency to make mistakes that are the same that their mistakes are. So if they go off track while I'm watching them, I sometimes would have gone off track as well. So there's something I have to practice of just keeping an eye on them, but not really leaving my lane, my line, as much as they are if they are turning into a mistake. Bottom of the hill here, turning in. That went okay. Overshoot it a little bit, missed the point, but I recovered right nicely and don't go off track. Full speed, full throttle down here. Love this turn one now. Still a little bit too cautious, trying to go through here at gear 2, roughly in the 70 to 70 miles an hour. It slows down at the end of it, so sometimes it's up in the high 70s, sometimes low 70s. That's roughly my guideline. I think I can go faster through here as well, perhaps, if I have a different line, different braking strategy, different braking technique. That's really So much to learn in iRacing, which is what I love. There's always something new to learn, always something to improve. And then one turn will go quicker than it went last time, and that's an awesome feeling when that happens. We're staying with the red and white car ahead. The white car has overtaken the red car at this point, so hopefully we can mimic that at some point before the race is over. But they're doing a pretty good job. None of them have really made any mistakes that we can note. None of them have made mistakes that we can really capitalize on significantly in this point, so we just have to stay with them. The blue car behind is far enough away that they're not really a danger to me as long as I don't make any mistakes. There's a car smoking in the pit lane. Turn 1, trying to stay on the inside, trying to use the curb on the inside, trying to use that curb as well, and slingshotting out as much as possible, going back to the right, trying to coast through here now, using the brakes and the accelerator to turn the car, using the curb on the left maybe to help us turn around, and then trying to go to the right, but that one I missed, so I had to go through here slower than I'd intended. That is some of the curse and joy of being a rookie. We can't do everything perfect, can't do anything perfect, but occasionally we have one of those moments where we do get the turn correctly, unlike this one here. And when we do, then that feels good. At least on this one I made sure that I don't make the wheels go over these red massive curbs that are sticking out of the ground, because I've done that before and that has damaged the car beyond repair, and it caused me to quit the test drive because the car wouldn't even make it back to the pits on its own. So there we go, at least I knew to avoid that with the wheel itself. Turn 1 coming up one last time. I try to brake between the 100 and 200 mark. There we go, closer to the 100 the more daring I get. Trying to carry as much speed as I can through here, around 70 miles an hour. In the high 70s is my goal. Trying to get the curves, trying to point the car straight when possible, trying to get back on the racing line. I miss it a little bit here, as you can tell, but I wanted to try the entry into this turn here, and I also missed that one, and I'm in the middle of the lane, in the middle of the track. So none of this is working out very well, but at least I'm staying on track. That's my main goal, not causing any accidents as much as possible, staying on track, being consistent with how I take the turns, and improving ever so slightly on every single one of them whenever possible. Those are the little victories. There's so much to learn in iRacing, which I love. They're pairing you up with drivers who roughly have a similar skill level, so that's becoming a lot of fun as well, because there's always someone who's better than you, always someone who's pushing you to learn more, to improve your technique, your racing line, your racecraft. So lots of growth left over the next couple of years. If you enjoyed this kind of content and want to follow along for my journey in iRacing as I improve with making videos, as I improve with racing, as I move on to other racing classes and tracks and cars, please hit the like and subscribe button. It's great to have you on board. Thanks for joining, and have a good day, everyone. Bye bye.